All right, so I just got a message from Rob. I think I have a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, up from the Bay Area. Thanks for joining us. For those of you guys that I haven't met, come on in. I got one more coming in the office. Come on in, Jose. Bring him in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Grab a business plan because this could be as effective for you as it is for everybody else. All right, this is fine. Here, have a seat. Grab a pencil. So anyhow, as I was saying, for you guys that I haven't met online, my name is George Hernandez. I am the regional growth manager or operation manager here in the Central Valley. Uh, I work with a lot of high level offices, awesome offices, Modesto, Merced, Tracy, Ripon, Los Banos. So it's exciting that you guys are able to participate with us and able to kind of work as one, right? Because we're all Driveville's, which is awesome. So then just to kind of, I'm going to roll right into it. Like I've spoken to Diane and Ainsley and Art and everybody else in the leadership group or and the facilitator group, I guess I could say, is that this workshop or worksheet that we're going to go through, we could get lost pretty easy, right? We get lost pretty easy. So if you guys do happen to get a message or anything like that and skip a line, please ask us to clarify because once we get past one line, it's not a, it's compounding on itself, so it builds on itself, right? And I know a lot of us have a lot of business, so I get it, right? We're on the phones, we're texting, we're not paying attention, which is cool, but at the same time, we're going to leave you behind. So I'd rather not because this is important for everybody. Um, Besides that, I just want to confirm one more time. Arc, if you want to thumbs up if you could hear me. Okay, just fine. Great. Okay. Modesto, Ainsley, are you on? Because I don't see you on.
Yeah, we can hear
Can you
you.
just confirm you can still hear me?
Yes,
Modesto? Okay.
yes.
Kayla?
We're here and we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. And I'm assuming everybody else can that is not in office. Uh, So I'm going to get right into it. Okay. I'll be looking at you, but I also have a group. For those of you guys that aren't familiar with those processes, that's the Los Banos group and guest here. So I'm either going to be looking at you or I'm going to be looking at them. And I'm, like I said, going to try to keep it slow. If you do have questions, please, 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 whoever's moderating the Zoom, make sure that you tap me and tell me to slow down. Okay. So I guess I'll start with this, right? When there's questions about business and business planning, like what do you guys think about? What do you guys think about business planning? Goals. Okay, goals. I got goals over here. Uh-huh. What about you guys in Merced? You could unmute it, Arc, as long as I don't uh, feedback, as long as there's no feedback. Okay, goals. Goals is good. Okay. But what do we attach those goals to and what do they really mean to us? Kind of it's what we really need to look at and need to understand. Purpose. What motivation? Yeah, but what does that look like, right? Right. These are yes, yeah, exactly. To what? Right? Activities. To what? Activities. Activities. Yeah, that's more tangible, right? Balance. Okay, I heard over here. So then when we look at these different aspects is we look at business planning or goal setting with more descriptive words like that. Like, hey, these are our goals and this is our motivation. Okay, but to what extent? And to what are we going to work towards, right? So that's the mindset that we want to start kind of coming into this place because the reality is that when we don't have goals or a roadmap, right? Was that you, Jose, said that? Yeah, or a roadmap to get to something, we're really just kind of spinning our wheels, right? And if we don't have anything to attach our commitment to outside of a general number, then it doesn't really mean anything, right? That's number one. It's your attach. We're going to attach a certain motivation to that quantitative or money or revenue. That way we know what we're working for. Because anybody could say, Christine's over here. Sorry, your mouth's full, or Victor, your mouth isn't right. It's like I could ask Victor, and I know when we first met, I asked you this, right? And I think would say that same thing. It's like, how much money do you want to earn this year, right? And that's kind of where we want to get into, right? And as you guys are thinking through, if you can see here, what do you want to earn? And that's your first line of the worksheet. So what do you want to earn? Start thinking through that. I'm going to give us a couple seconds to think through that. That says net or you want gross? Net. Net. I'm sorry. Yes. And for those of us that are a little bit more lucrative in the business and earn a little bit more, by net, I mean your commission check to you. You know your percentage. You know what you earn after every commission check. So how much do you want to earn annually? What does that look like to you? That would be your gross revenue, right? Your gross, yes, before not before taxes, yeah. Gotcha. But because we get commission splits, right? In your business, I don't think you do. Yeah. You do? Oh, all right. get commission splits? Good. Okay, good. Yeah, so some of us could be on a 20-80 split, or some of us could 30-70, or 40-60, or 50-50, or 60-40, and so on. Nope, don't have any of those. That's a completely different company. See ya. But yeah, like Jose here, who's laughing, he said he's on a, which the 95.5. Not just I get fired. Yeah, he gets fired. Exactly. So it becomes one of those things is think about that right now as we're talking through this and write it down. As soon as everybody has something written down, um, let me know. Art, everybody has a number down? Art, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Does your office have a number down? Everybody have a number down? Okay, like I said, I don't want to lose you guys, or I don't want to do that because this is your 2026 business plan. This is your goal. So we're going to develop a goal or roadmap to get to this money. Okay. Okay. Just for general purposes, somebody in the back, I don't care if it's Modesto or anybody else, like turn on your mic and throw out a number that you guys are talking about. Who's on here?
100,000.
Okay. Where did that come from? Who was that?
That's from Modesto. That's Dan.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Modesto says 100,000. Anybody else have 100,000 written down? You have 100,000?
I have more.
You have 100,000? You have 100,000? What'd you write down? 220. Okay. What'd you write down?
160.
160. Okay. So as I stated, I've been in this business since 2005, more or less. That $100,000 number has not changed when I'm interviewing agents. It hasn't. I'm going to say about, if they're newer in the business and don't have, they're not award winners like some of us in this call, that's the number. That's the number we hear, right? That $100,000 number. Okay. And we're going to get into a little bit more of that and the psychology behind that. But at this point, what I want to do is break down what's it going to take for you guys as individuals to get to that $100,000 goal. So then everybody's different, especially now that we have some folks from the Bay Area on call with us. After that, the second line, go right into what's your average sales price. For you, it'd be like, what's your average loan funded? So write that down. If you don't have an average sale price in this area specifically, here in Los Banos, at least we're at about 150,000, Kristen, average sales price. I'm sorry, 450, 450,000. Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Okay. So as soon as everybody has that on the document or on their paper, Kayla, are you guys following through? I haven't heard anything from you guys.
Yep, we're all writing.
Okay. Let me know when you guys are ready on your side. Okay. I'm trying to go office to office and go at the speed of all the offices together. Okay. So we got an average sales price of 500,000. Okay. I put a net income, not for me, but just to make general numbers. Okay. Net income of 120,000 with an average sale price of 500,000. Again, for me, it's just more to show you guys the way it's going to work and breaks down so you have an idea of how many units you need to get to. So then once you have that average sales price, everybody has that average sales price. Okay, what's your average commission percentage? I could tell you for the region here, our average commission percentage is 2.83%, right? But you don't have to use that commission percentage, right? I'm using a fair, easy 3% because I don't like decimal points. Makes it a little bit different. So yeah, so just whatever, and you guys know that, right? If you sold, I don't know, if you sold 2 deals last year and you earned 2.5% on each deal, then that's your average commission check. Don't inflate it, right? Let's get real with this. If you close 70 deals and you're listing homes at 2.75, you know you're probably going to average about 2.75. All right, we're trying to get some realistic numbers here, right? Okay, so now what you do, right, is you go to line 4. And you're going to write down your average commission check, right? Gross to the company, just in general, not to yourself. You're going to write it down to your company. So if my average sales price is 500,000 at 3%, I'm going to 3% times 500,000, and that's going to give you my average commission check, which is $15,000. All right. If you haven't sold a home, or if you're on here, just use the numbers that I'm using because that'll be very, very similar to what you'll be working with. For example, I'm looking through my list here. Farah, thanks for joining us. I know you haven't sold a home, right? You're still licensing or in that process. Thank you for coming and moving your business forward. So just use these numbers. Tracy, I'm assuming Kayla one of your agents or maybe Lori knows the average sale price. Can you guys give me that? In Tracy area?
About 500.
Okay, so I'm right there, 500,000.
Oh,
Perfect.
5 to 6.
5.6, exactly. I think the state of California, I read somewhere or I saw somewhere was $880,000 for the state of California. Yeah, so the Central Valley is on the lower end, of the lower end of California. I was speaking to Rob, and he says his average sale price in the Bay Area was 1 to 2, right? You couldn't do anything under that. So numbers are going to look different for everybody, and this is why we're doing this, right? So then after you have that average commission check gross, I have 500,000 sales price, average commission of 3%. Now I have $15,000. That's my gross commission. Now from there, you multiply that by the percentage that you got on your commission split. Whatever your commission split is, then you multiply that, right? And everybody's, I think, on something different. Like Jose is giving 95% back to the house, and he's keeping 5. So it's going to take a lot of deals to get to that 500,000. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know why it's lowered. Okay. So now everybody should have 4 or 5 lines filled out. Average your goal for what you have determined what your goal is for the year, right? Now your average sale price is going to help you determine how many deals you're going to need to get there. That's where we're at right now, right? So for example, I have my goal at 120,000. My average sale price is 500,000. I'm looking down because I'm reading the same worksheet that you guys have. Average my net, I did it at a 70-30 because that's pretty typical, right? 70-30. So that would be my net at $10,500. That's my take home before taxes, commission check to me, right? And this is how we're going to determine your goals by unit, okay? So what you want to do is you want to divide that net income by your average commission check, yours, not gross, but yours. And this will tell you how many units you need to earn. Okay? You divide it. So like, for example, $120,000 is the general number I use, right? And I'm going to divide that by my average commission check at 3% at $500,000 sales price, which is $10,500. So for me on my worksheet, to be able to get to my goal of $120,000 a year, I need to sell 11 and a half units. That's what I need to sell, right? Okay. So before we move on, I need to know, and I don't know if Diane's there, but Diane, Ark, Ainsley, Lori, Kayla, make sure that everybody's caught up, because when we go from here, it kind of gets a little bit faster. And this is typically where people get lost and kind of don't understand. So does everybody have a number? Everybody has a number of units? Okay. All right, cool.
We're still calculating over here.
So let's share some, right? You don't have to tell me, or you don't, I'm not going to ask who it was from, but if you're in Modesto, say it's Modesto, and there we heard this or whatever it is, and then we'll share some from where I'm at. So Merced, we'll start with you guys. Somebody share a goals by unit. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be you, Ark, it could be Diane, or it could be somebody in your office. But you got to turn on your mic, man, because I can't hear you. The mic is the little red button, the little red microphone. You just click it. Super simple. All right, we'll start here. We'll start with me. So I'm just gonna pick Jose. How many units do you need to sell to get to your goal?
I need to get 60.
Okay, so here, Jose in my office. Well, that's in my office now. Needs to sell 60 units to get to his goal. Okay, and what's your average loan funded?
Average loan amount is 340,000.
340,000. So what does that mean for your gross income?
Gross income to the house is 2.125. My part is 1.5. So percentage wise, and then the average commission on 340 is $5,100.
So what does that leave you yearly for you?
So that means that if I take my 60 units or 58, what it takes times 5,100, gives me $300,000 a year.
Yeah, so there's a $300,000 goal at a $5,000 average commission check, we're gonna call it.
Make sure you tell them the lender, who's the lender.
That's why I said loans funded. Yeah. Okay,
Make smaller commissions.
yeah, they do that, but they have to churn a lot more. But I don't know. I have a high producer here. Can you share your numbers?
I have 49, but I usually get.
Yeah,
I'm at this little low, but yeah,
so you're going lower than you did last year.
I should have much.
Okay, we have another agent here with almost 50
Yeah,
to reach their goal. And your average commission check is a little bit higher than this, right?
I put 450.
Yeah, but so then that's exactly. So we multiply that times 5, right? So there's an average income of 500,000, 500,000, right? So now we're getting goals, right? 300,000, 500,000. What about you, Vinny? Vinny's a guest.
20.
20?
20 houses.
20 houses will get you what?
Will give me 250,000.
220,000, but that's gross because you still play split, right? Okay, so then this is what I'm trying to get at. This is what you really want to figure it out, right? So then now what you want to do is 200 and so multiply that by 20%. Because that's the real number you need to get, and then divide that by 10,500. See, this is the workshop part of it, right? And this is where we don't want to get lost because let's set these realistic goals. No, yeah, but he has gross to the house. Yeah, so what are you taking home, right? What's Victor taking home? What's Betsy taking home? Betsy taking home, right? What am I taking, right? Okay, that's what we want to look at because that becomes realistic. Because then, let's say you want to close, you want to earn 240,000, but we made it based on gross. We're going to be short whatever your commission split is by a third, by 20%, by whatever, by 95%, right? So it totally depends. So now what does that look like? I'll do the math for you. So you need to earn $290,000 for you to earn about 240, right? And then you put $290,000 into your calculator. And this is why this workshop takes a little bit longer because this is the important part. Divide that by 10,500.
That's 27.
So you need to do 27 and a half units to hit your goal. 27 and a half units. All right. And so for those of you guys that have more than 6 lines on that first page, I accidentally left that in. That's why Kayla resent it. So then you're going to have where it says income, just line that out. Okay. So now what we have is this idea of what we want to earn. Okay. What do we want to earn? That's kind of the vision, right? The goal. Well, honestly, it's not a goal yet, right? Because we don't have timelines to it and action plan behind it. So right now, this is a wish, right? I'm wishing that I could make 240,000. I'm wishing I could make 300 and some thousand. I'm wishing I could do the 500,000. Somebody said 160,000 over here. Yeah, my worksheet says I'm wishing I could make 120,000. But to be able to understand if we could really get there, and this is a little deflating to some folks, let's look at what we did last year. So that's what we're going to get to next. Okay, so go ahead and turn the page. All right. So here we are, right? Turn the page. So then let's think about this. We're about the year's end. So we could, what's going to close within the next 60 days or so, more or less, probably. Yeah. In the next, let's say you could still open some escrows that in the next 2 weeks that might close this year, but with the holidays coming along, typically unless they're cash, they're not going to go far. So what we want to do is we're going to work through this a little bit faster because it's just a recap of what you did last year. Okay. If you don't know exactly what you did last year, think about how many houses you closed? I would think, unless you're doing, I don't know, I think you could start getting lost after like 26, 27. Then it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot I closed that house, or I forgot I had that client, right? So then think about that. All right. So how many houses did you actually close last year? If you don't know what you've been paid so far. Fortunately for us here at Berkshire Hathaway, every time we get a closing, if you want to look at this, every time you get a closing, right, you get a statement with an audit of every single transaction you closed year to date. It'll give you all your costs. It'll give you what you made. It'll give you how many deals. It'll give you how much you paid the house. It'll give you how much you paid in risk management. It'll give you all that stuff. So then, if for those of you guys that have closed, then that's what it is. Okay. So here is where reality comes to set in. Okay. All right. You guys ready for this? Ark, is everybody ready on your side? Kayla, Ainsley? You see, we had somebody walk out of the room because they didn't want to hear reality. So Ainsley, Vanessa's good. Oh, I like that. Look at that thumbs up. Okay, cool. So now what you want to do is flip your page back over. Currently it looks like this. And now let's look at your 2026 business plan goal or wish. And let's look at your 2025 actual income earned. And where does that line up? And where does that line up? Where does that line up? Okay. So like, and this is why I keep on saying this is where reality sets in. Because I keep on saying this is where it's at. It's like how much money have you really earned? And is that really attainable to what you've done? And obviously, most of us will shoot 2, 3, 4, 5 times higher because that's what we want, right? And when we think about business planning, that's what most people think about. That's why I ask you, what do you think about it, right? Everybody said you're the only one that said vision, this. It's all just a wish. It's all just this is what I hope to get, right? But when you're planning a business, it has to be a strategic move and a strategic roadmap to where you want to be from where you've been, and that's it. Like there's no difference unless the only difference is for some reason by happenstance or by you guys prospecting hard, you find an investor who's just trading out deals. It's like if you have 0 deals closed and you want to earn $270,000, how are you going to do that, right? Let's look at what you've done and let's look at if we're going to get there. And if not, let's readjust that goal. Let's do it by quarter. Let's do a quarterly goal, right? Let's break it down in small bites. And I use this old age adage a lot. Like, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time, right? And when we do business planning, we think about what we want for ourselves in a wish form, but it's not reality most of the time. And that's okay, because this is what we're here to do, right? Let's build a strategic plan and roadmap to get us there and to be realistic, because that's going to set us up for reality, right? It's like, let's not think of I wish, but let's think about I'm going to put together and then we're going to build a roadmap and we're going to go get it one step at a time. All right. So let's look at that, right? I have my example, for example. Okay. I'm comparing, right? For those of you guys that did the total income paid, it's 52,500. That's what I did last year. That's not what I did last year, but that's again, easy numbers. I just did almost half, right? I closed 5 deals. I earned 2 listings. I sold one of those listings because maybe it expired or maybe whatever, it was overpriced, because it happens to all of us, right? I had 5 buyer deals closed because that's pretty typical. The newer you are, the more buyers you're going to work with. That's just kind of the way it works. Average sale price still at 500,000. Average commission check was 10,500. In my plan, I don't have any pending, and I have 2 listings, right? So then, can you guys go through that little worksheet there and just do a quick fill-in of those, okay? I'll give you guys about 2 minutes to get through those. Again, what we're doing here is we're working through what we've actually done to what we actually want to do, and then we're going to say, okay, what's realistic to us, right? What's realistic? Am I moving or is this thing moving? It's weird. How does that work? I don't know.
Following you.
Okay. Cool. Again, if you have your phone and you don't know how many deals you closed, just go back to the commissions department. You know, you get your last closing, and that'll give you the recap. That'll give you all this information for you real quick. It doesn't break down the units sold to units. The listings sold to buyers sold, but your manager can provide that, or I can provide that. So you know where you're sourcing your business, and that's what we're going to get to next. Okay. If you don't have any inventory, put 0. Okay. All right. So now we got this, right? Now we got number 1, what's our wish for the year 2026? Number 2, the second page is we're recapped and we're kind of auditing our business last year. So we start understanding, is that realistic what we set for, right? I guarantee you that yours is probably super realistic because you do this every year already, right? I mean, how many are you going to close this year?
I'm 80% to my goal.
And that's perfect because that's a realistic goal, 20% increase from your last year's production. That's super realistic, right? But again, Jose, who's here visiting us, how long have you been in business in general?
38 years.
38 years in the business, right? How long have you had a coach when you were coaching? How long did you coach? 12 years, right? And these were the last consecutive 12 years, right? And how much do they hold you accountable to your business plan?
We do a business plan at the end of the year, and we coach every 2 weeks. I have to hand over a greatness tracker, of how many people I've talked to. I have to hand over a profit and loss of how much I earned, how much I spent. I have to hand over a lead tracker of how many people I've talked to. And then the family budget, how much I spent.
That's right.
I saved.
Yep.
So it's a pretty high level of
Yeah.
accountability.
Yeah. So Jose, I remember one because I've known him for a long time. Was doing 600,000, no problem. Net to you, between 4 and 6 pretty consistently, right? And the market switched, so it's switched up a little. What he was saying is with his coach and kind of what we're working through, he developed something similar, wasn't exact, I'm sure. But then what happens is this is going to be at the end is I'm going to say you take this plan and you work with your manager and then you break down that roadmap, which means that you're going to figure out how many people are you talking to, how many leads are you getting, a P&L for your business, how much money did I spend taking people out, how much money did I spend in marketing, whatever it is, because again, this is a business and this is what makes it tangible. There's a reason why Jose is within 20% of your goal, you said?
Yeah,
Most of the time?
I'm at 80%, and I'm probably gonna hit it 100%.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a reason he's gonna hit 100% of his last year goals because they're tracking. If it doesn't get measured, you won't get results. Not to the extent that where you want them. That's the difference in mindset, is thinking about it less of a wish and more of like, oh, I hope I get this, but an actual business strategy and roadmap to go through this. Okay. So then now can I confirm that everybody has total deals closed, total listings earned, total listings sold? Again, the difference is that listings that you put on the market, but they didn't sell, or you could include them. How many of those listings did he sell? How many buyer sales did he get? And again, the average sales price, which should be the same, average commission, which should be the same. Any pending? Okay. Can Modesto and Tracy, can you thumbs up or confirm that your group has that? Okay, Modesto, thumbs up. Thank you.
We are
Kayla?
good and filled out.
I can't hear you, and I don't know if it's me.
We're all good and
But you guys
filled
can
out.
still hear me, right? Or am I just talking to there?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, because sometimes I worried about that. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, like I said, and you guys have support there that could help guide you through this. So we're gonna work through this. And now here's even more of a reality check, right? And I have somebody who I worked with here actually about 2 years ago, when we sat down right here, we looked at your how many days you actually worked, how many hours you actually put in, and what does that look like, right? And it hurts. It hurts. Yeah, I've done that with several people. And when you think about it, like, and we start digging into it, for you guys in your mind, think about the year, right? Think about the week. We'll make it easy. Think about your week. How many of those days do you actually work on real estate? Meaning you're going out and you're talking to people, you're preparing for appointments, you're negotiating a contract, you're making calls, you are making open houses, you're doing stuff that's going to help you generate people to get in front of so you could earn income. How many days a week do you guys do that? Like, be realistic with yourselves. I don't know. What does that look like?
How many hours a day?
Well, but I'll do that at the end.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, no, this is the first step because most people don't know. Most people don't know. I can tell you, Christine knows because she's here every day, 7 days a week. That's not true. You take Sundays off. 6 days a week. She knows. She's here first one in the office, last one to leave most of the time, unless Susie gets here at 4 o'clock. Right? It's like she knows. She's working 6 days a week. You're probably putting 12, 14-hour days sometimes because you're going from here. Christine Kinsley, for those of you guys don't know, also with Berkshire Hathaway here, #1 in units in my office, are actually in the company. How many years running now? 10 years running now, #1. And I also have #2 in units, last 5 years running in this office, which is awesome. But again, if you think about it, like, her day starts, you get your exercise, right? I think you ride a bike. Yeah, she does. And I'm gonna just like kind of see the routine of a high producer, right? Exercise in the morning, you get up, you drive to the office. I think you're here probably by 8:15 in the office. Yeah, right between 8:15, 8:30, right? She actually has a half an hour drive to get here, right? And then and she's here, and then she's on the phone. I hear you. You're following up. You're making calls. You're confirming appointments. You're negotiating contracts. You're doing stuff in the business to generate that business, right? And that's throughout the day. I don't know how many appointments you go on a day. I don't know how many do you think, just or a week?
Probably 10, maybe.
Yeah, she's going on 10 appointments a week. Okay, but that's two a day if you're working 5 days a week. For those of you guys on Zoom, that again, you want to hit those numbers. This is what it takes. It's a perfect example. And then after appointments, right? I know this because I'm here in this office five days a week or 4 days a week, whatever it is, in Los Banos, right? Then Christine's going, and now what? I have a dinner I have to go to. I have an event I have to go to. I have to go help at whatever. So then she goes from there, and even though this is just who she is as a personality, that's her personality, but it's all in front of people, always in front of people, and always serving people. which is something that most of us don't do. You do that naturally. So congratulations, right? Some of us like me have to work at being nice. I have to work at being nice and I have to work at wanting to go and do this, right? And help, it's like that. I have 4 kids, so I don't want to do it, but I have to, right? It's just part of the business. So if you think about her getting here at 8:30, her leaving at 5, taking a little break, whatever she does, and then she's going to go to add it to a dinner or to an event somewhere else. She's putting 12 to 14-hour days. That's what she's doing. We're not out there swinging a hammer, right? You used to do construction, you said. Yeah, can you imagine working 14 hours on the roof?
No, man.
No, exactly. You can't do that, but in this business, you can.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you can keep your whistle wet, you're fine. So let's go do it. All right. So hopefully, I have that I work to earn those 52,000 3 days a week, which gives me 156 days a year. And I put 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 20 hours. And that's super realistic. 3 days a week, 4 hours, right? But if you calculate that, right? Can you do a quick calculation of what is my per hour rate is, even if working 20 hours a week?
20 hours a week times, how many days?
5.
It's what, 20 hours a week?
I'm sorry, 20 hours a week times 52.
Okay. So it's 1,040 hours.
Divide that by 52,000. That should give me
You're making,
$200 an hour. No, is it?
52,000. Give me a second. Making $49 an hour.
Yeah. So even me doing nothing, showing up 3 days a week, saying that I work 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'm making $50 an hour. That's the type of business, right? And when you start looking at it that way, I sat in here with an agent who was here. She's not here anymore, actually, but she's still referring with us, but she's not with us as a full-time agent. And I think she was only closing 3 deals a year, and all her deals came in January and February. Why? Because she came to the business planning session. Her goal was to make 25 grand because that's what she needed extra. And her per hour rate if she worked more often, we calculated it was $280 an hour. $280 an hour. That was her per hour rate. How many attorneys do we know that don't make that, right? Or can we think of? No, that's not what they make. So then that's the value that you guys could bring to yourselves and to your business and to your family. You just have to build this and do it, okay? And be realistic about it. So now we're going to move on to this 1238, and I want to keep this kind of going, okay? Now we're going to source our business, right? Okay, so out of those 5 deals that I closed here, how many of those came from, or whatever you have, your past clients? Okay, past clients is easy. Somebody that you closed already and that you've done business with and came and did business again. Centers of influence. Centers of influence, think of family, friends, people that are your business cheerleaders and that are out there sending you business, right? And for you, it would be like vendors or partners, real estate partners, right? But for us, it's people in our church, people at our gym, people wherever, just people that like you and that want to see you do better, right? And that's where you're gonna figure out where are these people coming from, right? Because what this does is after you identify where your clients are coming from, this is gonna let you and your manager get together and figure out what are you good at, right? It's like I put here that because I closed 4 buyers and they all came from open houses. Well, guess what? Shoot, if 80% of my business came from open houses, then I better be doing more open houses if I want to get to my goal, which is doubling my last year's income, right? And that's where the time blocking comes into play. You see what I'm saying? So, okay. So we'll go through that. Like I said, that's pretty easy. That's something for you and your manager to work through. And now pull up what's called the notes section. So there should be a notes section. And this is going to be, again, more interactive, okay? So this is where we figure out, she should keep me time for me because I tend to talk a lot. And these guys, by the way, everybody who's on this, I'm condensing this seminar or workshop. It's usually about 2.5 hours. So right now we would break, go get something, come back and finish off the rest. We're halfway, right? But I'm going to speed through the rest of it because it should be a lot easier because it's a lot, right? Now what we have to think about, and I know I did this with you because I remember talking to you and actually I was going to ask you, did you get to Italy, right? Because I remember her saying, I got an agent in the back that wants to go to Italy. We determined how much. But you close enough to you did it. You hit it. So that now we have to think about is like, okay, now that we know where, number one, what we want or what we wish we can get. Number 2, what we did last year. Number 3, where those deals came from. Now let's figure out your realistic business goal, and we could develop a business plan from there. right? Knowing that if I close 52,000 there, I'm not going to close 150,000. No way. Hey, how? Right? I have to triple my business. How am I going to do that? But if I only work 3 hours a day, 1 day a week, I could probably do it. You know, at that point, then okay, why don't you put in 5 days, 3 hours a day, and then you got it, right? So that's kind of what it comes down to. But before we determine that, let's go write down right below on the notes. Write down monthly expenses. So here, right here, monthly expenses, because we're gonna workshop it. Okay. Incoming income, and for those of you guys that have the old worksheet, that was at the bottom of the other one. But so right below the month your monthly expenses, put incoming income. So it's line item. Right now, what we're doing is Jose, we're doing a P&L. Income and income, monthly expenses. Okay. And then right below that, put delta. And for those of you guys that are familiar with accounting, you know that delta is basically the difference, or there's a difference in there, right? So I don't know. 10 minus 8 is what? 2. So then there's the delta, 2. Right? That's what we're trying to figure out. So then there's the delta, right? And then put, this is, I stole this from a different company, your big Y income goal. Like what, and we'll talk about what the big Y was, but what it looks like. Okay, so if we have all those written down, very first line, monthly expenses, think through this. Again, how much do you have to spend every month to survive? What does that look like to you? Looks like different to everybody, right? Yeah, yeah. So what is it? It's like, okay, you have a mortgage, right? You have multiple mortgages, hopefully. I hope you do, you know? Okay, you have insurance. You're not paying anybody for college. You're probably gonna be putting somebody to college pretty soon, or if you're not already. You got college debt, you got car payments, right? Usually when you're younger, you have higher car payments because you get a little bit of money and you want to go back and drive a fancy car. You have car payments, you have food, what's that?
Utilities.
Yeah, you got utilities, you have monthly eating budget. You got to eat.
Date night money?
Day night money? Yeah, exactly. My day night money is expensive. You know, my wife loves champagne, so it's like a nice champagne too. Um, so yeah, so there it is, right? And it's going to vary. It's really going to vary, right? It could be like some of us live at home with our parents, right? Some of us have roommates. Some of us have our houses paid off. So it's going to vary, right? There's going to be some of us that are going to have super high ones, high expenses, and some that have super low. So it's not a judgment call, but this is really how we're going to determine what our goal should look like, our minimum goal, right? Right. So then, does everybody have that, right? And if you don't have that, just throw out a round number. I use $5,000. I'm just thinking a $2,000 mortgage payment, $1,000 in food, $1,000 in utilities and insurance, whatever, and then like a $500 car payment. So what does that put me at? 3,500.
A lot.
Yeah, whatever it is, 3,500, and then $1,500 in savings and fun. It's kind of, then you break that down. I don't know. You break down however you want. My job isn't to tell you how to live. My job is to help you live better. That's it. Okay. So then get that. And now for the next line, where it says incoming income, that means if you are the second income, you have an incoming income. Or if you have passive income, that's incoming income. If you have child support payments, that's incoming income. Spousal, what is the spousal support payments? Whatever. You're a retired veteran. You have income. There's income there. So what does that look like to you, right? What does that look like to you guys? Okay. So what I put there is I put my incoming income, my monthly expense is 5,000, my incoming income is 5,000. So my delta, which is you minus the top to the bottom, or line one to line 2, there's a delta. Okay. So that becomes your minimum income you should earn selling real estate, because you can't live without it. And you go into debt. You'll lose your house, you lose your car, you lose your insurance, you lose whatever. Right? So what does that look like? What does that delta look like? Do you guys have that? Do you have it on there? Or you didn't write it?
No, I'm not that one.
Because you know it, right? Yeah. Okay. So some of us are lucky enough or fortunate enough to put ourselves in a position where we're positive every month. We don't, you don't really need to work. Like, you don't need to. Other of us, where our monthly expenses are 15,000 and our incoming income is only 8,000, maybe because we lost a job and we're trying to get going, or whatever it might be. And now we have the delta, right? It could be, for my worksheet, it's $0. For some of you guys, that might be, I don't know, $20,000. I don't know. I don't know, but get that in your mind, okay? So then that's your goal that's your revenue goal number one. Your revenue goal number one for your business plan of 2026 is going to be that delta, okay? And again, that's your bare minimum, right? That's kind of what, so we'll move on to the next one. So after your bare minimum, actually, I should stop here. Kayla, Merced, anybody have any questions before I move on? Thumbs up, Modesto, if you guys are good. I'm tracking with you guys. Okay. So then now we have to look at this. Okay. I remember I talked about like, we talked about our wish or whatever. It's like now this is where we start setting something tangible and attaching it to a financial goal. Okay. And I'm gonna, and I could do this. I know that I need to earn an extra $2,000 or else they're gonna foreclose on my house. My kids aren't gonna be whatever. So that's a non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable. That's something we need to do. Now we have to figure out on top of that, after we survive, how do we thrive? And that's where we get lost. That's where we get lost. We get complacent. Complacency sets in, right? Unless you're hyper competitive. If you're hyper competitive, you're less competing for the goal at that point, but your goal is to win again, right? And there's some of us in here that are like that, right? To get that first place, I want to be the number one. I want to track. I want to compete. That's good. That's great. That's a different motivator, right? You have that internal motivation, so you don't need to set this aside. But for those of us that aren't driven by competition, let's think about that. Let's talk about that, okay? Like for example, I got Vinny here. Vinny, I'm going to pick on you because you're right in front of me. But he had a goal of $240,000 income, right? I didn't look at his sheets and what he closed. But why do you want to earn those 240,000? What is that? What for?
Well, I just want to aim high. I don't want to, get close to my last year goal or what I earned. I'd rather aim high and fail and get close to it than, just get complacent once I get close to, like 80,000 or something. You start to let off the gas a little bit once you start getting close to that number. I want to go past that number.
Let me ask you this. You say this, right? And I'm going to ask you this. What he said is he sets the goal high. That way you shoot for the stars, you land on the clouds, right? A lot of people put it like that. But you lift weights, right? When you're maxing out, right? You said, I think, what's your max bench?
Bench 265.
265. Okay, so you got the 265 place on the thing.
Yeah.
You go down with the 265, and your goal is to get. Actually, you got 267. Your goal is to get to 267, right?
Yeah.
So you're pushing. You get halfway. Are you going to stop?
No.
So then why would you stop at your goal? Because there's nothing attached to it. If the difference is that with bench press, you have it right here. There's tension and there's tension. You let it drop, it's going to probably kill you. It's going to kill you, right? So then that's what we're going to get to right now. Is there that mindset there is what keeps us where we're at, because we're okay. I got a little bit of money in the bank. I could live. I don't need to work that hard. I don't need to work 6 days a week because I could do that. Well, why? Because I put myself in that same situation. So I've had to kind of move that goalpost, right? What else do I want? So now what we have to think about is those 240,000, they have to mean something to you. Okay, what do you want to do? You told me you wanted to buy investment property and you wanted to invest in stocks, right? So then break that down. Okay, what is it going to take, Jose? What does it take to buy an investment property non-DSCR at 500,000?
20%.
Okay. Yeah, 100,000. So there you go. Out of those 240,000, you segment it, right? We did this. You segment it. You say, okay, out of those 240,000, $100,000 is going to go towards my down payment. Okay, I want to invest in stocks. How much money do you want to invest in stocks?
50K.
Now you got 150,000 out of 200. So now you're attaching something tangible to it. So what happens is when you're looking at your goals, right? When you're looking at your goals, now you're looking at different. It's not like, oh, if I get there, hopefully, but if I don't, that's okay. No, it's like, I've been telling everybody, and this is where accountability comes into play. I've been telling everybody that I'm going to buy this investment property at 500,000, and now I can't because I didn't hit my goals. Wow, I'm gonna look like a jerk, right? So then you come back to it. You come back to it, and you say, now what I'm earning is for something else, right? And that's what you want to figure out. So for me, I would say with your nut, I would set up like this is where your timeline comes into play, and you start taking away that wish to goal, right? You say in a year I'm going to save $100,000 to be able to buy my first investment property. Okay, so now you get your delta, whatever that is. I don't know what that looks like, but let's say it's $25,000 a year, and now you put that 100,000 as your big Y goal. So now your goal for the year should be or needs to be $125,000, not 240. Because if you fail at that goal, guess what? You're not getting your house. And guess what? Now you're whoever you're holding accountable is going to say like, dude, you told me, right? one thing I did for me, and this is again, is that I needed to do this, is what I do is my goals is I present them to my family. Because my goals are usually typically attached to my family, right? So I knew I wanted to build a pool. Okay, so what is that going to look like? How much money do I need to earn to get there? And where do I need to earn it from? Right? So if I'm going to spend $150,000 on a pool, then I have to be able to, sure as hell, be able to earn that income to pay for it, right? So that's where I came from, right? That's my, so I was able to do that. You know, I wanted to buy my a car, upgrade the car. I did that. So now I always keep on adding, right? Because I just happen to be in a pretty good place where I don't have a Delta, right? So I need to keep on pushing that, or else I could be complacent, hang out in my office, and be off at one and not work. But that's not it, right? That's not life. So for you guys, that becomes your new goal. Okay. So what does that look like for you guys? Write down a number of what your goal should be, right? Or needs to be based on what your big why is. What is that? I don't know. It's different for everybody. And again, this is something if you can't do or don't know how to do, this is something you should be sitting down with your manager to work through if you want to be held accountable. Right? If you want to be held accountable. And like I said, the big why could come in different places, right? I was in a meeting on Monday. You know, I want to get I think it was my mom out of debt. That's a fantastic goal. That's a fantastic goal. What does that number look like and how are we going to get you there? Right? That's kind of what is that exactly? So you kind of move it that way. And now you're not only failing or you're happy with shooting for the stars but landing on the cloud. Now it becomes one of those items where you're letting your mom down if you don't get there. Who wants to let their mom down or their kids? Hey, I'm gonna plan this. Like I can tell you guys, like I'm planning Greece. I wasn't gonna do 30 days, but I can't be in a plane and in a small hotel for 30 days with my kids. So a 2 week, it's gonna be a 2 week Greece and Portugal trip, right? So I got the numbers for all that, and I know what I need to get to be able to buy that in 18 months, right? So now everything that I have to make an extra whatever it is to be able to go comfortably because I don't like to stay at Holiday Inns, right? I want to stay at somewhere else. I want to go to Greece and I want to do that nice Caribbean or Grecian Italy tour for a week. You know, I want to do it nice. Like, okay, so what's it going to take that? It just takes a little bit of money. And money I know I could earn. Money I know everybody could earn. If you look at even the people that work the least here, if they're closing 3 deals, they're working 3 hours a day. What do we say? $50 an hour, right? You know, you could earn your per hour rate could be hundreds. You know, 400, 500. I don't know. It all depends on how much effort you want to put in. So think about that, get that, and now you have a real goal, right? So my Y goal here, right, is $5,000 a month because that's just again round numbers. It's monthly expenses of 5,000, income of 5,000. My delta was 0, but my Y goal is 5,000. That means I need to earn $5,000 a month, which puts me at $65,000. Wait, about $60,000 a year, based on my last year's income, which was $52,500 according to my sheet. I only need to increase my production by 20%. I only need to increase my income by 20%. And that's realistic. The only reason it's not realistic is if you just came into the business. And you said, I just came into the business and I've only been doing this for 3 months. Well, you don't know any better and there's no history, there's no historical. So then your next year is to prove it. And that's when you could shoot for the stars. You know, that's when you could try, but never try to go bench at 315 and not even do 135. Like it's not going to work, right? So everybody have that on your side?
Like a baseline first.
That's right. Yep. Cool. So then we go there. Sorry, I must be giving you mine.
And then it goes for the
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then it goes here, right? It goes notes. Now your production goal should be your delta plus your big Y goal. I don't know what that looks like. For me, it's $60,000 a year, right? Because that's what my worksheet says. Your closed deals goal, which we're on this page here. I meant to have it on screen, but we're on 2026 production goals here. You guys see that? So now we're on closed deals. So if your income goal is $60,000 a year, or whatever it is, you divide it by your average commission check, which we've already established about 3 pages back. Mine was 10,500. 60,000. I think it's like 5 deals. Divided by 10,500. So yeah, basically 5.7 deals, right? Or 6 deals on the state to earn those 60,000 to meet my goal there. Now from there, break it down a little more. Out of those 6 deals, what I want to concentrate on, right? For me, I want to concentrate on listings because at least in what I've seen and what I've realized is that listings are the way to go. You could do one listing. You could do, actually, I don't know. How many listing appointments can you go on a day, Christy? Just not, how many can you go?
There's a couple.
3 or 4?
Yeah, I could do 3 or 4.
Okay, 3 or 4 appointments. Christine here does a lot of listings, maybe 70% listings. Could go 3 or 4. Shuey, a day. How many buyer appointments can you go on a day? Like, let's say you got the guy from Sacramento that you're working, right? Shuey here happens to be working somebody from Sacramento.
We're looking at like 4 houses a day, every other week.
In Sacramento.
Sacramento.
And how far is that for you?
It's 3 hours from here.
So back and forth, right? So how many of those can you do a day?
Well, it's once a day. Yeah.
Well,
4
no, clients. How many clients like that can you do a day?
The one.
Yeah,
That's 3.
exactly. So you see the difference there, guys? Is you got buyers, you're gonna have to run them around 5 or 6 different houses, and you're gonna have to show them 5 or different houses. Then you're gonna have to sit there, explain to them all this stuff, sign the contract, and do all that. When you could go on 4 appointments, listing appointments a day. I would love 4 listing appointments a day. But the reality is, if you really want to keep your time in check, I'd concentrate on listings. Buyers will come. Buyers will come from there. Okay. So for me, realistically, like, what do you want to concentrate on? So I know based on last year's number that half of my listings close. So I need to earn to get to my 6 deals. I want to do 4 out of the 6 deals. So I need to earn 8 listings, right? Because I know that half closed. So I need to put on the market 8 listings in the next 12 months. That means that out of those, and it's supposed to say listing closed, not listing earns. I apologize, below that line. So I'm going to close 4 of those, right? So now I got 4 out of the 6 deals are going to be listings. That's going to be where I'm going to be concentrating my time. And then from there, out of those buyer rep agreements, how many of those close? I don't know, because we haven't tracked those deals, but I'm going to just put the same numbers. So I know that I need 2 more deals to get to my 6 deals closed. So I'm going to do 4 buyer rep agreements, and I'm going to close 2 of those buyers. Okay. So that's 6. So you guys, if you run those numbers, right, you got your goal, your income goal for 2026. Those are it. Okay. And now you got your closed deals goal. So you divide your income goal by your average commission check, whatever that is to you. Okay. That's step 2. And then you're going to say, okay, now out of those 6 deals or units that I need to close, how many of those do I want to be listings? You guys determine that, but you always have to list twice as many that are going to close. That's kind of just standard. All right. No, well, it depends on how aggressive you are with pricing.
Okay.
If you're a good pricer, you're going to sell. How many expire? What do you think percentage-wise? 10% maybe expire for you or cancel?
Probably 10.
Yeah, but you're pricing super aggressively, so they're getting sold, right? If not, you're hitting them for price reduction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes one of those things. If we're not comfortable with that yet, then most likely you're going to close half. You're going to only close half. You have to be very comfortable about being realistic with sellers, just like I am with you guys. About your goals. And then if you decide to take an overpriced listing, then you have to be realistic every week and consistent about bringing them down on price to where it's supposed to be. But again, rule of thumb, just kind of what works, right? So now I got my 6 deals that are going to come from 4 listings and 2 buyers. So from there, I'm going to go back a couple pages. You're going to go to how many days did you actually work? And then you're going to have to increase that, because if you're going to increase your goals by 20%, or whatever it might be, then you have to increase your efforts by at least 20%. Okay. So if you work 2 days a week, you have to work 3 days a week. If you work 2 hours a day, you have to work, I'm going to say just easy, 2.5 hours a day or 3 hours a day. Sorry. Okay. So then that's how you know. So I have here last year, according to this plan, whatever it was, I think it was like 160 days. I know that I'm going to have to work whatever 20%, 190 some days, almost 200 days out of the year. All right. So that's how that comes down to. That's as easy as that, because that's going to give you a plan. I know now that I need to start scheduling my time. If I'm going to add 20%, that's 1 extra day. What days are you going to work? Are you going to work the weekends? Are you going to work Monday? Are you going to work Tuesday? You make that determination for your own schedule. All right, guys? You guys do that, not me. So you aggregate goals day work, and below that, now, okay, now where it says numbers required to achieve your goals for 2026. Oops. Okay, that's going to be how many listings are you going to sell? For me, it's 4. And then buyers are 2. And the reason that's at the bottom is because that right there is your production goal, your unit goal. That's what you want to track. Track everything else, but at least at the very minimum, track how many units you're closing. That's it. You close the units, you get everything else. It's as simple as that. That's the type. This is what you're going to give to your manager. This is what you're going to say, hey, Mr. Manager. This is my number 4 and 4, 4 and 2. I'm going to close 6 next year, and that's what we're going to work through. That makes sense to everybody? All right, and I put in the next page is with your manager. I want you to take this daily schedule here. Okay, the daily schedule here. What it is? It's going to say in those 3 days, here's my hour based on what I want to work. You could shift it if you want to work in the evening. You could work in the evening, but then you have to put in there what am I going to do between those days, right? In those days, I'm not going to show up at 12. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to show up at 11:45 because I want to go to lunch at 12, and then I'm going to be, I'm going to go to lunch with my buddy at 12 and be back at 1, and then I'm going to go home at 1:30. That's not a work day. That's not a work day, right? I have Victor here. Victor used to be a CEO for a company, a confectionery company. What would happen if you had an employee who came in and did that?
Wouldn't be there.
You'd fire him. Exactly. Yeah, he would fire him. If we were real employees, I mean W-2 employees, and you showed up at 10 o'clock or 10:45 or 11, and you went to lunch, you grabbed coffee, you went to lunch, and then you came back at 1:30, and then you left by 2, you'd be fired. Fired. You'd be fired, right? So think about that for yourself. This is where you're going to determine what you're going to do. My suggestion for you guys is to be at the office by 8:30, and so you could be done by 10:30 if you're only going to work 2 hours a day. Get everything done. Make those prospecting appointments. Get those leads. Confirm the appointments. Negotiate contracts, right? And then go do what you're going to do, and then make your appointments for the afternoon. Start again at 4. Okay? It's as easy as that, right? And I know some pushback because I want to move on to the challenges and solutions because this is where I get the most pushback. Is like, well, I have a client that could only see houses on the weekends because we just like you guys over there, we get a lot of commuters, right? Let me tell you something that if they're motivated enough, they will take a day off to come see houses. They will take a day off to come see houses. If they're motivated enough, they will do it. The reason that they're not doing it is because we're not asking them. I mean, I'm going to survey here in Los Banos. Be honest, how many of you guys have asked your clients to take a day off to come see houses? 1.
I asked a specific client to.
Oh, so Sacramento. How much time did you spend with them before that, without having them do that?
It's way too many. That's why I had to ask.
Yeah. So
Same.
yeah, exactly. So 2 people in the back got tired of kind of spinning their wheels with buyers and accommodating their schedule, right? And now they're somewhere else. But then at that point, it's kind of like, I can't do this every weekend, all day. So I'm gonna ask them to take a day off. Like this, it really isn't fair, right? It's like you guys go to the doctors, right? And they make appointments, and you show up when you have to show up. You don't say I can only show up at 6 o'clock after work, right? Right? This doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So why do we let it? Right? Why do we let it? I'll tell you why we let it. Some of us are just very nice. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's just some folks. We got an agent in the office. Oh my gosh, that poor thing. She's such a nice lady. She'll show house at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night because she feels bad. Fair enough. You're gonna be that person. That's on you. I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to run your business. If you feel comfortable doing that, then great. If not, then no.
Boundaries.
No, that's exactly what I was going to get to. The real reason that we don't ask that is because we don't know how to set boundaries and expectations, right? It's like you have to set those boundaries. And at this point, we worry about losing clients because we don't have enough clients. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Okay, not having enough leads to be able to be okay with somebody walking away, or you being able to say, "Hey, this is when I can respond to you." I have a thing. I don't respond to people after 7. Right? I just don't. And I let them know that from the very beginning, right? Well, you know that. I tell all my agents, everybody that I just don't because that's family time. And if you can't appreciate the fact that I'm going to spend some time with my family, then you probably need to go work with somebody else. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. Right? Because in the future, it's going to be a lot of friction and it's going to be too many problems. And I'm going to grow resentful because you're taking up my family time. And it's important to me. Okay? So set those for yourselves and be okay with being, hey, Jose, you call me in a house, right, or whatever it is, and number 1, are you pre-qualified? If you're not pre-qualified, I'm not showing you houses. That's it. I don't care. You go and that's my number 1. But then after they work with Jose, like we work with Jose quite a bit. Then my thing is like, hey, Jose, this is when I can show you houses. This is when it comes available. They're going pretty quick, so you need to make some time. Is that okay with you? And if they say no,
Say no.
Okay, that's fair. Then you're probably not going to get a house that you want. And at that point, then I probably can't sign with you. But if you want to get the house that you want with me, then this is what we're going to do, and we're going to make accommodations. Is that okay? Nope. Or he says no again, then fair. Then make that decision. Adios, amigo. Right? Yeah. Or yes. Yeah. Yeah. When I was working buyers, that's what I did. I don't do a lot of buyers, right? Unless they're investor clients. And even my investor clients know that when I find the deal, they come in, they're taking advantage of it. They're like, yeah, get it, get it. They don't even look at the house most of the time.
Or 90% of the people want to see houses on the weekend.
Yeah.
So you're only working on the weekends.
Yeah, and exactly. Jose has a good point. 90% of people only want to see house on the weekends, so you're only working on the weekends. But you hear it, you hear that even in the language I use, only want to go see.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they can't see it other times. They only want to go see. Now it's up to you guys to start setting those boundaries. Not my job, not my life, but that's just the standard that you guys need to start setting. And that's what this is. Hey, if I want to work Saturday, Sunday, fair enough. If I was single with no kids, yeah, I'd work every day. I'd work every day because my goals aren't about my family anymore. It's about making my life better, lifestyle better. Anyhow, so that's just me on a quick tangent. We'll work through this next stuff pretty quick. So then let's go to the next page, challenges and solutions. So based on what we talked about to get to your goals, you guys on your own, if you can right now, let's work through the first two. Okay. What kind of challenges are going to stop you, or what's going to stop you from actually getting to your goal? What's going to stop you guys from getting there?
Procrastination.
Okay. Time. Okay, write that down, time.
Yeah.
So write it down, time. Complacency, write that down. I have one over here.
Health
For
issues.
me, if I had a different type of goal, it would be, time, because why? Because I have 4 kids. So it's time. So what's going to stop you guys from getting your goal? Like, what's the challenge, right? You guys know how to turn the wheels, but what's going to get in the way? All right, and now that you have a challenge, think of a solution to that. Okay, I heard complacency. The way to get around complacency is to keep on moving that goalpost and get that bigger goal, because you know that, right? You get that bigger goal. Time. The way you get better at time is being okay with saying no, right? Being okay with saying no. That would be the second one. I love that one.
What was that? Can you that?
Yeah. So okay. So think about that. That's the first one. Find a solution. And like I said, these are items that you should be working with your manager. If I am your manager, obviously like a Modesto, please bring it to me and be like, hey George, I want to set out time. Let's set up half an hour and go over this business plan, and let's set up a real roadmap. Okay. Oh, time was one, and then and here's for the second challenge, right? What's the second challenge? So some of us said complacency, some of us said time. You wrote something down. What do you have? Procrastination. That's a good one. It's real, right? Okay. Jose here for crazy buyers, right? But again, exactly, they're all crazy.
It's my job.
Fear of rejection. Okay, crazy. Yeah, crazy buyers. Thank you, Modesto. Fear of rejection. So yeah, no, crazy buyers are gonna happen, right? But again, it becomes one of those things. If you look at here's this, right? Regina, I think that was you, right? I have a buyer broker agreement. Okay, great. This is what I have. So I'm going to concentrate in on. There's a difference between this one having one and having 20 buyer broker agreements, because then what happens is be like, you know what? I have some better buyers over here. So Mr. Buyer, thank you, but no, thank you. That's the only way you're going to be able to get away from crazy buyers, right? Fear of rejection. Fear of rejection is probably the most common, and that's where call reluctance. Let me say call reluctance. That's the most common factor to why people don't prospect or lead generate, because they're scared, right? And most people are scared of calling people they don't know and asking for business because they're scared they're going to say no, or they're going to hang up on you, or they're going to be rude to you, right? And I remember sitting in a seminar about this, right? I was sitting in a seminar and it was like a super, they call it actually Mike Ferry. That's all he does is prospect, right? That's the whole thing, prospect. For those of us who are married will understand this. He was standing up there and he's like, and they said the same thing. They're like, oh no. They said, what about all the rejection we get? And he said, well, is it on the phone or in person? And he's like, never mind. He's like, never mind. He's like, let me ask you this. You had a ring on your finger. You married? And the guy said, yeah, I'm married. So then he looked at him. He's like, are you still with your wife? Yep. He's still with his wife. Then he looks at him and says, hey, how many times have you seen like, honey, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. And she's like, oh no, I got a stomach ache tonight. You wake up in the morning and then is your stomach ache gone? Right? So it becomes one of those things like, yeah. Oh geez, I shouldn't have done that. But look, here we are with the person we care about the most, our best friend, the love of our life. our spouse, whatever it is, rejecting us. And it happens to us all, right? If we're okay with going back to them, why are we so scared of doing that to somebody that we don't know? Right? Put that into, but it's the truth, right? Oh, yeah, Christine, the back, that's a good analogy, but that's the truth. It's like, what do you care? Especially if you're making phone calls. Yeah, I had too much chocolate or whatever. But especially if you're making the phone calls, like it becomes one of those items that you don't see them, you don't hear them. I mean, you hear them, but you got, if you're doing like, let's say you're doing farming calls or prospecting calls, you got 300 numbers to dial. If one person tells you no, or 10, or 90, but 95th person tells you yes, and you get that in 3 hours, and you made $10,500 in 3 hours, what does that look like for all those calls? How much money did you make for every hour? If you're making $10,500 per call, you're calling 30 people an hour, and you get one deal out of it, you talk to 100 people, break that down. That's $2,500 an hour. $2,500 an hour to get rejected. If I was to look at, if I was, whoever Modesto says that, if I was to look at you and say, I'm going to pay you 10 grand a month and just make these calls all day long, get me appointments, I guarantee you'd make the calls because you have it there. So why not just do it for yourself and move 5 times a month, right? I'm not, and again, I am a huge proponent of of calling and lead generating. I'm not saying that that's what you're best at and that's what we're going to get at to right now. But definitely that fear rejection is, everybody has it, supernatural. Everybody will have it regardless. It's just about continuing through it. I guess I heard this, it was told to me one time, is that courage isn't not being scared. Okay. Courage is walking through that scaredness and getting through it. That's what courage is confronting it. All right. That's the way we want to look at it. So anyways, we'll go to the last page. Okay. The last page here is you are now committed to your business plan. Okay. So you are now committed to your business plan. So everybody here, get it. It says, I commit to the success of my career and fully commit to the goal set above, which you have the page before. I will find accountability partners and share my goals with important people in my life. I make this commitment on today, which is the 29th. October 20th. Oh, we're already the 30th? Jeez. October 30th, 2025. Sign it and give it to, like it says, your accountability partners. Your number one accountability partner should be the person that if you have a spouse, if you have kids, and if your goal is set, like, oh, I want to take them to Disneyland, whatever it is, tell them about your goals and tell them how you're working, and you'll see if they don't hold it accountable. How much, I used to get all the time, how much money have you made? Did you sell any houses? Did you do this? Did you do that? Because they know if I do that, then they're gonna get to their goal. So everybody, are there any questions before we wrap up? Again, I can't hear anybody. So if we don't, then I wish I had like what do you call those auctioneer voices? Going once, going twice.
Thank you, George.
Thank you for stopping in and checking in. Modesto, if you're ready for this, then just shoot me a text and say, hey, I want you to hold me accountable, and I will. Everybody have a good one.